What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to FBA Capital. And today I'm bringing you guys the weekly outlook video for NASDAQ 100. And we're basically just going to be going over what my expectations and basically predictions are for this week and just higher time frame analysis overall. So we're just going to start off by saying today is the 19th. Is it the 19th? No, yeah, it's the 19th. So I'm not going to do the monthly. So I'm going to just start off on the weekly. We're going to start by marking up the weekly highs and weekly lows. As we can see, the weekly right now is at like this bearish, I wouldn't say doji, but it's coming to the point where it's trying to close as a doji. But it is bearish after we came up and rejected this area of, looks like 12,000 basically. We're just rejecting 12,000. So we got the weekly high right here. We got the weekly low right here. So ideally next week, or meaning this week, is we are ideally going to be aiming for this weekly low. Why? Because simply we were bearish this week. So if we're going with just understanding probabilities, we got to understand that price is more than likely going to try to make its way lower. Also because we ran a lot of liquidity, cleared this high to the left. And if you pull this fib from this higher time frame on the retracement that we're currently in, we're currently within this retracement and rejected to 62%, and that's when price started to drop. And also keeping in mind, this all also happened within this 12,000 price range. So more than likely, my expectations is I think price is going to make a run lower to potentially fill in this fair value gap that we have all the way down here, right? And if you look at how far that is away from price, that is approximately, price closed off at 680, and this is around 125, so it's almost 450 to about 500 points, which is definitely attainable, and there's a big gap in between. And also I like this because there's still a chance that price could push higher. So if it retraces this low, it would ideally give you the best case scenario to take majority of profits. So now we're going to look at it, understand like this. We're doing the same thing. We're going to pull a fib from this low now, but to this high. And as you can see, that 62% also aligns with that fair value gap. So it just also gives us more reason to believe that this is a good area to look for potential movement in price. And as you also look at where this is in price, we're close to this 11,000 area also. So that is the weekly and daily analysis that I have as of right now. I am overall bearish for this week, but I do think long term there's still a high chance that we could push higher and then fill in gaps up here and even make a run for this high all the way up here. But this is going to be maybe not even 2022. This might be into 2023, depending on how the market actually acts. But like I said, we're ideally bearish, and we're going to be reaching for this weekly low down here. And yeah, so now we're going to move our way on to our intraday analysis, so we can kind of get an idea on what we're going to expect for the day. So we're going to mark up the previous day's highs and previous day's lows for Friday. So we got the previous day's high, and then we got the previous day's low. We're going to mark up the Asian session range of the previous Thursday. And the reason I used the previous Thursday's Asian session range is because if you know that the market closes Friday, it closes before the Asian session opens. So the Asian session on Friday was never created. So that's why we use Thursdays. And it gives us a good area for price to potentially retrace back into. So off rip, I'm going to kind of draw these Asian session highs and lows over, so I can kind of see in which we are kind of within that range already. And we're starting to lose that momentum. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to draw a fib from that previous day's high to that previous day's low. And it looks like we're having a 38.20% rejection. But I do want to keep in mind, from the 62 to 79 is a range that I ideally see price coming up to highest case scenario. Meaning, I do think that we could stay within this Asian session range and keep going lower. But I do got to understand that there is the 750 mid figure in confluence with this fib short. So there is a chance that price could still have this push higher before dropping lower. That's something I'm keeping in mind. But I also am keeping in mind that we already are rejecting the 38.20% level. If you look to the left of where price recently was, we also filled in this gap right in here. And after we filled in this gap, that is when price slowly started to show weakness and wanting to come lower. So like I said, we are ideally still bearish. We want to see price still come lower for lower prices and reach these lows over here, because these are going to be weekly lows right here. this is ideally where we would want to see price come down to. And if you look to the left, also keep in mind, like I've been saying, we ran these highs to the left of price. So there is a high chance that price is going to try to keep running lower based off a higher time frame. So that is why I am bearish. And just using that higher time frame analysis that we had based off of the weekly, understanding that everything is bearish and where we are in price after running these highs, it makes me have more confidence in believing that price is more than likely going to try to push lower. It could push lower from where we currently are, or it could push slightly higher first, going to that 750 quarter point before potentially dropping lower also. It's two things that could potentially happen. So right now it just comes down to just waiting for it to happen and just actively waiting for the charts and being there, looking for your setup every single day in your same session, trading the same pair. That's what it comes down to. I don't know if this is going to happen for sure, but this is just based off of how I trade and my expectations on the past. Experience is going to give you the confidence to execute and going to give you the experience to understand what to look for, if that makes sense. Because none of this might happen, but based off of the past, this is what I have for my expectations. Doesn't mean it will happen, but like I keep saying, it might. And we're judging based off probabilities. We want to take trades that are more than likely going to happen compared to taking trades that could happen or might happen. We want to take the highest probability trades to give us the highest probability of winning trades and having a good, consistent growth in our equity. So with that being said, hopefully this video gave you a little bit of an insight to how I personally trade and just the way I view the market overall. So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you join the Telegram. The link is in the description, and let's have a good week. I'll see you all soon. Stay productive.